Hello, acupuncture family, and just Facebook family. What is happening? So, today we are chatting with Mr. Matthew Bauer. Let me invite him here. And hi, Cara. Hi, Sylvia. What's happening? I'm going to get Matthew on the screen. Always got to figure out how to invite somebody. You think that I'd know how to do this? I've done it so many times. All right, there's Matthew. I'll invite him. Say hi. Oh, you did say hi. Hi, Alyssa. Or Alyssa. I think you say your name different than mine. Hi, Cara. Thanks for coming, everybody. Today, I look so shiny. We're going to be chatting with Matthew in just a minute. Who else we have on here right now? Say hi in the chat. Where is everybody tuning in from? I always love to hear where the acupuncturists are coming from all around the world. I'm going to just share this video. If you want to share this while we're doing the live, awesome. Super appreciate it because it's good to get this information out there that Matthew and I are going to talk about. Because as maybe most of you know, he's been working on like a documentary about acupuncture. It's really amazing. Let me just share this video. We'll just hang out for a minute and wait. Let me see if he's on here yet. Not on here yet. He should be on any minute. Oh yeah, you're in Canada. Oh, your name is the same as mine. Well then, hello, Alyssa. I remember now. Hi, Robin. What's up, Ra? I'm just reposting this. If anybody wants to repost it while we're doing the live, awesome, because Matthew's been up to some really amazing things that we need to spread around. Not just our community, but we need to just spread it around the world. So I'm just sharing this post. And we're waiting for Matthew to come on the screen. I think this is his first Facebook Live that he's done. So, yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. So, I'm not sure. We'll see. I think I already invited him. Yeah. We'll just wait a minute. I hopped on a little early. It's just 8 o'clock his time now. All right, so I was saying, I'm spreading the post. Say hi in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Just going to share this to one more page. We got to keep spreading it. Nothing yet. Acupuncture. So, how's everybody doing today? What's happening out there? Let's see. No, I got people that are requesting to come on the screen, but you're not who I want to have. Oh, Matthew, there we go. That's who I want on. Some other people tried to request to come on. They're trying to pretend to be you, Matthew. All right. It says that you're being added. I'm just sharing this video because we can share it while we're live. So actually, I should share it on your page. Let's see. I think I can do that. It's adding you on. Let's see. Share. And a friend. Yeah, it's still adding you. Takes a minute. Should be good. You're coming. I'm going to share it on your page. Let's see. Okay. That is all shared. Now I'm back to the screen. Oh, all right. Oh, hi.
Okay.
You got
Hello.
a whole crew.
No.
Come on the live. No. Hi, Matthew. Or Matt. Do people call you Matthew or Matt? Is it Matthew? Matt? What is it?
I go by both. My
Okay.
wife prefers Matthew, so let's use Matthew.
Okay. Well, hello, Matthew. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. So great to be here.
Yeah. So is this your first Facebook Live?
Yes, it is.
Woo! Welcome to, I don't know, modern day Facebook, I guess.
Yes. No, this is a wonderful thing. You know, I saw one on the Business Academy. They tried to do it and it didn't work. So I was hoping it would work for us. Yeah.
I've been doing quite a few of them, and most of them seem to work. Sometimes we have little hiccups, but it seems to work pretty well.
Right. Good.
All right. So thank you for chatting with us today. You've been up to some awesome stuff. I would first love to hear about you. You know, and how did you originally get started in acupuncture? To start with that.
Yeah, well, what happened is just one of these series of events that nobody could ever predict in your life. I mean, I injured my back when I was 17, and it never fully recovered. So when I was about 19, I went to a library to find a book on back exercises. And in that same section, I found a book about acupressure, about shiatsu. And so I checked it out, and, you know, I read it, and it was interesting to me. I had some, you know, I dabbled in martial arts, so I had some kind of, you know, appreciation for, you know, Asian arts. But, you know, it was just more like a book, how to do it on other people. And it was just, you know, kind of filed it in my memory. And then a couple of years later, I learned about the place that taught acupressure, and I took a 20-hour weekend seminar from a guy, Wataru Ohashi, who's an amazing body worker. He's still the best guy I've ever seen. And he pretty much opened my eyes that there was this whole other world of Oriental medicine out there. And from that place, I actually just picked up a flyer off the desk that had a listing for a bunch of businesses. And one of them said, Taoist Master Hua Ching Ni, acupuncture, herbs, and diet therapy for the treatment of disease. And I had a family member that had a serious case of hyperthyroid, had just gotten out of the hospital and was supposed to have half her thyroid destroyed by radiation, which to me sounded like a kind of bizarre thing to do. So we went to Master Ni, and he said he was sure he could help, and put her on a really strict diet and gave her herbs and acupuncture. And we actually went there the day she was supposed to check into the hospital. And she started to feel better right away. And her gland specialist kept calling her saying, you've got to have this procedure done. And she said, no, I'm feeling better. And he said, no, it's impossible. There's no cure for this. You had a serious case. You're going to have really bad cardiac issues. And so he convinced her to come in and have another thyroid scan done 6 weeks after the time she was supposed to do the therapy, and that we started the acupuncture and the Chinese medicine therapy. And so when they did this follow-up scan, it came back that her thyroid was perfectly normal.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that was, you know, of course, now he
I heard
said
myself
it was
echo.
just a coincidence. Yeah, one of those spontaneous healings that sometimes happen. But so I started to study Taoist philosophy at that time from Master Ni. I had no thought of doing this myself.
Is this the Master Ni from Yosan?
Yes, yeah. He's the father of the two
that's where
sons.
I went. You know, that's where I graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know,
they're great.
I tell you, it's interesting to me that Master Ni's teachings were not more appreciated and followed in the Chinese medicine community, because as far as I'm concerned, he is the most brilliant authority that really sees how this stuff is all tied together and how it came from really prehistoric time. And you know, he has some brilliant books. I mean, really, it's amazing stuff. So, you know, when I had a change in my life situation, and I was a construction worker, and I wanted to do something to help people, and I thought about acupuncture school, but there was none near me. And then, like a couple of years later, I read in a newspaper article that one had opened up in the town right next door, and I went there to check it out that afternoon, and I was sitting in class the next day.
Oh, I love it. So this was just like one of those crazy callings.
That's right. I mean, it was just,
awesome.
You know, if I hadn't hurt my back, if I hadn't went to the library, if I hadn't learned about the acupressure course, if I hadn't picked up the flyer, all of that is, who knows? I mean, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. And now look at what you're doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So you've been in, are you still in practice now?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Okay, so you've
yes.
been
I
in
have
practice like a long time. How long have you been in practice?
32 years.
Oh, that's
32
amazing.
years. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so you've been in practice for a long time, and then throughout this time, what then led you to start the Acupuncture Now Foundation? And for people watching that don't know, and you could probably explain it better,
Yeah.
the Acupuncture Now Foundation is like a nonprofit. Is it nonprofit?
That's right. That's
Oh,
right. Yeah. I mean, so here's what happened. I mean, when I started treating people, it was like I had so many patients tell me, even in tears, that they wish they'd have known about this before. They wish their spouse that passed away, would have known. They would have known about this. That something like this could have helped them. And so I always felt, that it would be like a no-brainer that if acupuncturists are trying to organize, we would have public education as one of our top priorities. We've got to get out there and tell people about this.
yeah.
And so I started to work with acupuncture organizations really early into my practice, in the first couple of years. And I just assumed that one of our top agenda items would be, how do we inform people about what we do and how this can help them? And
Yeah.
I was really surprised that it never, ever got done. And it was never a priority with
Yeah.
these organizations. I mean, believe me, this was so long ago. Back then, there wasn't even any professionally produced brochures on
Yeah.
acupuncture, Chinese medicine. I mean, some practitioners drafted their own. So I suggested, let's make a series of 4 brochures. One of them, what is acupuncture? Another one about the scientific evidence behind acupuncture, and another one about the licensing, and then another one about herbs. And I thought, we'll make these, and I actually got other authorities that were going to write different ones. And I said, we'd put these out, and people could have a holder, and we could give them to our members of this association, either charge them or make it a perk of membership. And they turned down the idea. It was like, no, we don't. And I'm like, really?
I mean,
So,
these issues that you're talking about, we kind of have some of the same issues today.
well, I mean, it's better today, but here's
Yes,
what happened
it is.
is, like, I mean, my personal belief is, because believe me, I mean, over 28 years ago, I proposed that we hold a national rally, that we hold rallies in parks to say, I've been helped by acupuncture, and we would organize our patients and everything. And I actually have had 3 times over the last 30 years that I had heads of national organizations tell me, yeah, we get it, you're right, we need to do this. And then when I went to work with them to try to make it happen, I found out that the organizations were in a crisis of leadership. There really wasn't any true organization there. They were more like, they were going out from putting out one fire to the next. And so what happened for me was, I always believed that if somebody would just focus on educating the public, that's a non-controversial issue. That's something that all acupuncturists agree need to be done, right? So I thought, well, if somebody was to make an organization that just zeroed in on how do you educate the public, that, it would get support. And so what happened was, when Acupuncture Today 4 years ago wrote 2 articles about how the AAAOM was a sinking ship and an organization in name only, that they had crashed and burned. And when I saw that, I thought, maybe now, if I try to launch an organization that will only focus on educating the public, I might get support for it. Because if I would have tried to do that before, people would say, no, a new organization, we don't need a new organization. We need to use the one that's already there. So, I mean, I knew that back then that the AAAOM was in a crisis of leadership, because I had actually chaired a committee for them to try to look at doing public education. And I found out there's no way they were organized enough to do this. So, but when that article was published, or those 2 articles were published, I thought, well, hey, now the average acupuncturist is basically hearing that they don't have any national representation. Maybe now I could launch this organization. And what happened was, I planned to launch it in the US and then see if it worked, and then maybe try to reach out to other countries. But I had, friends that told me that from other countries that said, all the problems you're saying you have in the US, the same things happen in these other countries.
Yep.
Don't make it just a US thing.
Yep.
Launch it internationally.
Yep.
So
And that's what I'm discovering, that's why I keep trying to connect this globally, because we are all having the same challenges and we can learn so much from each other. And together, we're so much more powerful. And, the point that you made, Matthew, I think is a really good idea on doing what you're doing separate from the associations, because the associations have enough on their plate, and to just have your organization to solely focus on this completely separate, I think is such a powerful idea that you're up to.
Right. And that's what we spent most of the first 2 years going around the world, really, and trying to help these organizations understand that, first of all, that we're not a threat to them. We're not a membership organization. We are a public charity. So we're not going to be trying to sign up members. And that what we want to do is to try to, we do need financial support to do proper marketing. But what we're trying to tell these organizations is, look, let us do the heavy lifting on national and international levels of public education. And then your organization can work with us to kind of take it and tailor it as you need to in your local markets for your members, right?
Yep.
So, that's what I'm saying. We need to try to find a way to do collective marketing, because, if you do a national or even international campaign, especially one that gets picked up by media and everything, then that's the way you can get the most bang for your buck, rather than a whole bunch of associations all trying to do the same basic thing in their own local markets, right?
Yeah.
They can piggyback off of us. So, help us to do the bigger national campaigns, the general public education. There's so much educating that needs to be done. And then the other organizations can pick it up from there and tailor it the way they need to. So, we should be seen as not any kind of competition, but as an organization that's taking, what I always saw was so many of these groups, issues would come up, like legislative issues and educational issues. And everybody says, oh yeah, we got to do public education, but it would always get down the priority list. And then there's not enough money to do it all, right?
Yeah, never.
For me, it's like, let us worry about that part of it. And just let's find a way to work together so we can make the bigger stuff happen, like releasing documentaries and things like that. And then that way you can ride on that to help your own mission.
Yeah. Okay, there's so much to talk about. What you mentioned before about organizing whatever public things where patients speak out about what they've had success with acupuncture. Right. That is such a great idea. Holy moly. Mm-hmm. And I've always said too, especially in the United States, we are a celebrity-based culture, and the more that we can get celebrities to speak out about it, the better. And do you know about World Acupuncture Day that's coming up, right? In Paris?
In Paris, yes.
Yeah, so that's, I think, really interesting. I'm going to be talking to Gerd about that online, hopefully soon. Right. But that is probably one of the first public days ever just to organize the public about acupuncture.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's something. There are different associations that have done their own acupuncture awareness day or acupuncture awareness weeks. This one, is on a larger scale, and it connects in with World Health Organization, and especially the Chinese contingent and how they're trying to promote it and all. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. I'm still waiting more information on the details. Anything like that,
I'll bring it to you in my Facebook Live with Gerd.
Yeah, good. Because when anything like that, I look to, like, okay, how do we make the most of our time. You know, how do we,
Yeah.
you know, have, what meetings are we going to have about how to take this forward and everything? So there's
Yeah.
so much behind the scenes work.
I
It's
know.
pretty daunting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just at the conference in Rothenburg for the first time, you know, and I went to
Yeah.
some of the amazing political meetings there. But yeah, there's so much going on behind the scenes, you know, to organize and get everything going. So really, though, you know, you are kind of a pioneer for us with what you're doing.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
suppose
it's
so.
really
I mean,
awesome. Yeah.
right. Well, thank you. But I mean, some of you guys may be familiar with my book, Making Acupuncture Pay.
Yeah.
Now,
I remember
now
that book.
I wrote that book basically out of frustration that I couldn't get the national organizations to do a big public education campaign. So I thought, okay, if nothing else, let me try to share my knowledge and background to help individual practitioners. And one of the things I say in that book is that for an individual practitioners, one of the big education hurdles they have to get over in their community is to portray themselves and to brand themselves in people's minds that an acupuncturist is a intelligent, caring professional. Because when people think of the term acupuncturist, they don't automatically think of a intelligent, caring professional. Now, they may not necessarily have a negative idea about them. Most of them never think of an acupuncturist at all in their life. It's just not something that is part of our culture, right? So, you know, I go into some detail in Making Acupuncture Pay about how you can help to portray yourself as a intelligent, caring professional. But see, what I said in there was, we should be doing this on a national and international scale. You know, so basically what happened was, you know, I gave up on trying to get the organizations here to do it. And then I wrote Making Acupuncture Pay, and I worked on that for 4 or 5 years. And then when I saw the articles showing that the AAAOM was in such rough shape, that's when I decided, hey, well, maybe I can make a run at this. And maybe the people familiar with my book, they might understand, you know, that I'm really serious about this and support this. So, but it's, you know, it's really tough, I tell you, because, you know, even now, I mean, we've released this first episode, and boy, you talk about showing an acupuncturist as an intelligent, caring professional. Our first episode of Getting to the Point, the Children's Hospital of Orange County, shows a highly compassionate and caring, highly professional acupuncturist that has been helping seriously ill children for over 15 years in a leading children's hospital. So this is what I mean about this positive messaging. And then of course, I've always said that the greatest potential asset the acupuncture community has is the gratitude of the people that we've helped. So, you know, when I talk about, you know, public education, I am mainly talking about how we can put a microphone to those patients of ours and let them do the talking for us. You know, let them
word
tell
of
their
mouth.
stories.
That's how
right.
that's how I teach acupuncturists to build their practices, you know, and along the same lines as that is that, you know, it's just is going to continue to ripple out and ripple out and ripple out, you know, and it's not going to be us like trying to convince people. It's going to be just that word of mouth where people are organically, enthusiastically talking about how you helped them.
Right. So, but it's really tough, and I know you do a great job at it. You have way more laser focus maybe than I do, but you know,
thank you.
You know, it's because look, you know, so we released this this 30-minute documentary done by Doug Dirth, a very skilled, you know, filmmaker. It's basically broadcast ready. It could be on, you know, Discovery Channel or PBS or something like that. It's that quality, and we released it free. We've been trying to do everything we can to alert people. We've had 2,500 or so views on our website, which also gets counted as Facebook. But it's like, you know, there's over 33,000 acupuncturists in the U.S. alone.
That's just the U.S.
Right. So, you know, what my hope was that, hey, if we could get a good number of acupuncturists, and especially if they tell their family friends, especially if they tell their patients about this, we could be getting tens of thousands and then hundreds of thousands of views. This is free, right? Why every acupuncturist should want every person possible to see this film,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
it
it's just people don't know about it probably. You know,
right.
that's why I want you talking about it on here.
Right.
So wait,
And that's
so
why
it's posted on your website, and then
that's
is it also on YouTube, or do people just find it on your website? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's both. I mean, it's the acupuncturenow.org, which we have shortened the title now on our website, so it has just acunow.org.
Okay.
But then the Acupuncture Now Foundation has a channel on YouTube, and this is
Okay.
the front and center video there, so people can find it, either way. The hope is here that, I mean, we've already gotten, like, I just did a radio interview on Saturday. A television station in Cincinnati wants to do an on-camera interview with Doug Dirth. We have 3 or 4 different newspapers that are interested in doing articles, and now they want to use a local practitioner, to put a local kind of connection to it. But what I'm saying is we are starting to get some positive media vibe from this and interest in this. But when the media goes to kind of check us out, if they see, tens of thousands of views on YouTube, then that's going to make them say, hey, this is a more important story than maybe they thought. So that's how I'm trying to tell practitioners, hey, if all you do is just view, watch and share, if you can just watch and share the video so we get our views up, that will help us with the media, and that will also help us. The idea is we want to continue to do story after story, and we have a couple lined up already, and it's just we have to raise the funds to do it. I mean, we're doing these films for ridiculously inexpensive. Doug is being great and really giving us a discount and working with us on this, and so we have the chance of even going all around the world and filming some incredibly important things that are happening with the acupuncture, with acupuncture in the acupuncture community. And we would love to just keep this going and do a whole series and blow people's minds with what this medicine can do.
I'd like to get people on here who are watching, whether you're acupuncturists or not, talk to us in the comments about what you think needs to be done in order to really spread this film. What do you need to be motivated to watch this film? Have you, like, acupuncturists could just send it out in like a newsletter, to all of their patients.
Right.
Is it better that they watch it on your website or on YouTube, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Either one. Yeah, either one, because we set up our website so it'll count as a YouTube view.
Okay.
So we wanted to have something that would publicly show how many people are watching it. So we decided to go with YouTube, and then to do on our website in such a way that it counts as a YouTube view. So either way is fine. I mean, eventually, as we try, as we really reach out to the general public, we want to more drive them to our website, because our website has all sorts of additional information about acupuncture, including how to find a qualified practitioner, and so the whole idea is not just to interest people in acupuncture, but to give them action steps to where they can make use of it themselves, right? So
Matthew,
our website has more information on that.
What do you think?
Yeah, so that's why the general public will want to drive to our website, because that will give them, has a better chance of actually getting them to find an acupuncturist, get any questions, more questions they may have, find an acupuncturist and get into their offices.
Yeah. Matthew, what I was going to ask, let's just say what Savannah here says, I'll share it on my Facebook business page. I already shared with some patients that wanted more information on acupuncture. Awesome. Thank you, Savannah.
Right.
I mean, I think, since we're talking right now, I think it's such an awesome idea for all acupuncturists to just send it out to their patient list,
Right.
I mean, why not? Like, Matthew, from you doing this, what do you think the public and acupuncturists need in order to watch this film? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I hope that, especially if we get some, media coverage, I mean, I haven't yet had time to go into the radio station's archives. My understanding was it would be archived as of today, so I can, you know, link to that and say, hey, listen to this interview I did about the film. You know, that if Doug is on Cincinnati television, and if we start to get these newspapers to do articles, that might help to really hit people's minds to say, wow, this is a real thing that is getting this really positive press. So, you know, other than, I mean, you know, we have an email list of, you know, 2,300 acupuncturists. We have 3 different Facebook pages that we, you know, send out notices there. We're starting to try to send out, you know, notices with acupuncture groups, Facebook groups and everything. We're starting now, we're going to be contacting hospitals that offer acupuncture to make sure that they know that this is available. You know, hopefully they'll share the link. You know, we also have a 2-minute and 45-second trailer. And
I saw that in Rothenburg.
It
was great.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about the technical thing. I'm going to talk to my web person today, but I mean, if somebody wanted to embed the trailer on their website or something, or their Facebook page or something like that, all of this is, we're a charity. So when we get donations, the whole idea is we put it out there for free for everybody. It's not, you know, anybody that wants to use it absolutely can use it. And so we're also, I have joined a few, because this video or this film shows the 2 of the children that were treated both had brain cancer. May is Brain Cancer Awareness Month. So, you know, I have been sending some notices to these brain cancer support groups, Facebook pages and things like that. So, you know, we're doing all we can, but it's so important for acupuncturists to tell their colleagues, say, on the social media groups and everything, say, hey, have you seen this film yet? Help spread the word. This is really amazing. This is basically free advertising.
Also, you know, I'd like to add, if you, or, you know, if anybody watching or who watches this later has any celebrity connections, you know, that would support and put it out on their social media, that would be amazing, you know, especially if they are fans of acupuncture, of course. But, you know, you get one of those and it's like, boom, you know, so if anybody watching knows somebody, you know, in a celebrity position who loves acupuncture, share this with them and see if we can have them to share it on their social media.
That's always been one of the parts of my strategies, even back, you know, nearly 30 years ago, when I wanted to do this series of public, you know, I've been helped by acupuncture day, you know, in public parks and everything. One of the strategies there was we would put out the word, say, anybody know, you know, celebrity patients, so we can get some kind of blurb from them, and then we could put it out and everything. So that's something,
because we're treating them. I know we're treating them.
I know. And we would love to connect with them and to get any of those involved with this messaging. You know, see, the whole thing is, I mean, I absolutely sincerely believe that if we were to get, you know, enough support to keep this sort of thing going and to do, I mean, it's not just about the documentary. That's a hugely important thing, but you know, we're also involved in trying to shine a light on things that are really wrong with acupuncture research, and how to put that in perspective and everything. And so I believe we could double the number of people seeking acupuncture services within just a few years if we had, you know, the resources to really do this in a comprehensive way. And that really means hiring a PR company, and, you know, working on refining the messaging and all the ways to get this out through all the different media outlets. And so, you know, like, and I do want to make sure I mention this, because I talked about the AAAOM and them in trouble. We're not a partisan organization. We don't pick favorites on any sort of association. But I do want to mention that, you know, when I talked about the AAAOM and the articles written about them, you know, we have the American Society of Acupuncturists, and we work pretty closely with them. And as far as I'm concerned, David Miller is their president. He's the best leadership, you know, best person in a leadership position I've seen in a national organization in a very long time. So I'm not really playing favorites with anything. I just want people to know that, yeah, there's been a lot of problems with with how these organizations have managed themselves over the years. But I think we do really have some great people now. I do encourage people to, support them. But when I gave a presentation to the ASA 2 years ago, and I announced that we were going to be trying to produce a film, documentary, I told them, look, I know you're worried about competing for the same dollars for support. I said, listen, all the ANF needs is if 1 out of every 10 acupuncturists just in the United States alone were to donate $5 a month to us. We would have the resources we need to keep this documentary series going. We would, it would be close to enough to hire a PR firm. So it's, everybody says there's, the acupuncturists don't have any money. That's why we can't really get good, representation or do public outreach or anything. That's total baloney. I mean, we have strength in numbers. The problem is we can't seem to reach those numbers. And, I hope that this film would inspire people to say, wow, finally somebody is doing something really high quality, really making acupuncture and acupuncturists look like intelligent, caring professionals. This is something we all should support, because if we can keep this going and get all the media coverage, and we hope to be picked up by a Netflix or something like that, this can be seen by millions of people.
Yeah.
That right away is going to make people's phones or their computers start, ringing off the hook with appointments.
Yeah.
Right? This is a business thing as well as a public benefit thing.
Yeah. Catherine here is asking where to donate.
The ANF website, acunow.org.
ANF website. Actually,
right.
What is it? ANF.org? I'll put it in the comments.
No, it's acunow.org.
acunow.org. Okay.
Yeah. So, the idea behind the Acupuncture Now Foundation name is really to say, where is acupuncture at now? What's happening with it now? It's such a fast-moving thing. There are so many incredible things happening, but it's all happening in pockets all around the world, and nobody's really out there trying to connect the dots.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So are we. That's what our mission is.
That's why I said it takes a village to mainstream Eastern medicine.
That's right. No, I like to say, look, if ever there was a medical field, a medical approach that needed a public education campaign behind it, it is acupuncture.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't get it. It's bizarre. How could sticking needles in people do all these different things? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. But there are absolutely ways that we can reach people and help them to understand that, no, this isn't a crazy thing. That, the focus that we have with getting to the point is to show how acupuncture is being used in mainstream healthcare facilities, because there it had to be vetted, and the acupuncturist had to be vetted, right? That had to go through a process, like in our film, Ruth McCarty, the acupuncturist at the Children's Hospital, it took her 2 years to go through, committee meetings and everything before they got her credentialed.
I've heard this with other acupuncturists working in hospitals. It takes some years sometimes. Yeah.
Right. But once she got there, we actually interview the chief medical officer of CHOC, and she tells us, once the doctors saw the results that their patients were getting, then buy-in was easy, right?
I know.
So, but showing that that acupuncture and acupuncturists have been making inroads into these mainstream facilities, that will help the leaders of other mainstream facilities to go, wait a second, this isn't such a bizarre thing. The whole idea here is to help administrators of other mainstream facilities be, more wanting to make this happen in their facility. And the other part of it is we want to drive public demand, because if you're a parent of a child going through, cancer, and you see this film and both sets of parents saying how their kids sailed through 18 months of chemotherapy because they got acupuncture, and the one child had a serious stroke, and the parent tells us that even in the last 6 months, even though his stroke was like almost 5 years ago, this father tells us just in the last 6 months he showed his MRIs to 2 different doctors, and when they see the child, they cannot believe They just say it just doesn't make sense that the child I see should not be able to do that based on these MRIs that I've seen. So anybody recovering from a stroke, you know, this is something really significant. So if we get this out there and it starts to drive public demand, and you have parents telling people at the hospital, hey, why can't my kid get this here like they can over at that Chalk hospital? That's going to drive the demand. And then
powers in the people.
Right. There's another part of this project I just want to quickly tell you guys, and that is
go for it.
That together with the release of this Children's Hospital of Orange County, we are working with the NCCAOM and the ASA, and we're trying to put together a task force that will put together resources. Now, there's already been some work done on this, but we want to really pick up the ball and run with it. We want to develop resources that hospital administrators can have, like if they say, okay, gee, we're hearing this about acupuncture and we're interested in bringing it into our sphere of operations, but we've got a bunch of questions about how do we go about doing this and what are the possible pitfalls and all of this. We want to have those resources already available to them, to where, when, you know, their most frequently asked questions, we want to identify those and give answers to them. So it will speed this whole process of getting. Acupuncture should be in every hospital. So when we talk about how this is a good business thing, it's not just about individual practitioners, private practices, although that's a big thing too. But, you know, we want to see hospital jobs created in every hospital, because it should be there. You know, the truth is on our side. It's not like we have to get real creative about how to put lipstick on a pig here, right? Acupuncture is valuable, right? You know, acupuncture is valuable. All we have to do is figure out a way to get the truth into people's heads about what this can do.
You know, Matthew, I think that everything you're doing is helping. You know, like, don't think that what you're doing isn't working. Like, you're really planting the seeds for the tree that, you know, you might not see, you know, but you really are. You know, because we are on that way, and acupuncture will be in all hospitals. You know, there's stuff happening with the Joint Commission now and all that stuff, because the opioid crisis and this and that, you know, so I just, you know, admire and respect your passion so much, because it is you who is planting the seeds for the future. You know, I mean, acupuncture is going to be everywhere, like you're saying. You know, I mean, it's literally a life-changing medicine, you know, and slowly, people are really going to start to learn that through everything that everybody is doing, you know, which is what you and I are both working on, is just empower the acupuncturist, you know, to educate the public and spread the word, because that's how we're going to get there, you know. And so
that is. Yeah, we have
doing it.
You know, I'm super excited. Thank you for that. I appreciate the encouragement. Believe me, you know, sometimes you get so burned out. It's
I know.
that, you know, to hear those positive things really.
But it's true. I mean, I really believe that, you know, and that's why I said that, because I could, you know, I know that you can get so involved in all the politics and this and focus on everything that, you know, it hasn't gone through yet and who hasn't watched it yet. But think of everything that, you know, people that have watched it yet, and the news people that are starting to get interested in it, you know. And now we're talking about this, and, you know, hopefully thousands of people will watch this video and really start to spread the word, or send it to your patient list, or connect people with Netflix, or, you know what about small independent film festivals too? You know, those are all over the place.
Well, see, our original plan was to do a feature-length documentary that would have 4 or 5 different segments within it that we would weave together into a full feature-length documentary. And with that, we would put it in film festivals and all that sort of thing. But we
can you not with the 30-minute one now? They won't take a 30-minute one?
It's a kind of tough thing. It's not as easy to get in there, and, you know, Doug is starting to work on that to try to figure out how we may be able to do something like that. But you know, the thing is, if we get one more segment done, now we've got 2 different segments that will show from different angles, and that will be, you know, an hour or more. So even with 2 segments done, we really have the chance of, you know, doing that. But, you know, we just decided that this information was too important. We wanted to get it out, and that we hope that once we show people that, hey, we're dead serious about this. This is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we've got a quality filmmaker who is passionately committed to this cause. And then we've got, you know, me and a bunch of people, you know, the Acupuncture Now Foundation now has local chapters in Australia and New Zealand.
Awesome!
Yeah, no,
Congratulations. That's
it's amazing.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, you know, the people that I've met since I took this crazy gamble, you know, I mean that they're what keep me going, because there's so many people that I really respect
Yeah.
and admire who keep telling me, no, what you're doing is important. You know, you got to keep it going. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna do everything we can to build
Yeah.
on this. But
Everything
yeah,
helps, you know, everything.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about positive
Yeah.
messaging, you know, getting creative about it. But, you know, I think people can see from this, just imagine, you know, what I would love to do is I would love to put out one of these, you know, maybe every 9 months or so. And we can absolutely do that. We've got the subject matter, we've got the filmmaker, you know, and once we get a few of these done, now we've got a chance of really turning it into a feature length, or at
Yeah.
least to attract a distributor that maybe will want to carry it on as a docu-series, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
You know, I mean, and you know, I mean, I was just living in LA for such a long time, and I just think that there are so many little independent film festivals that go on there that usually have like 15, 20-minute films.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
why I was thinking
yeah,
about, you know, your 30-minute one. I mean, and there's
yeah,
lots of humanitarian film fest, you know, there's all kinds of stuff like that. So it's
yeah,
really
yeah, we
just
will.
connecting in. I mean, if anybody, again, watching, you know, has any ideas for us or any connections for us, please let us know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and anybody that's you know, I've already started to put out word, and I've heard a lot of great things back from people. But anybody working in a hospital, you know, experience with that, you know, contact me through the Acupuncture Now Foundation website. You know, just the info at acupuncturenowfoundation.org comes to me. So, you know, contact me through there. You know, we are going to be starting to get serious about fundraising for the next episode. We've actually got 2 that we're pretty interested in doing, and we're starting to take the steps on that. And all of them will be different, but equally as remarkable. And that's what we want to do, is we want to show acupuncture being used in a kind of breadth of scale, that it's like, wow, it could help kids with cancer. It could, you know, it could do these other things, you know, in completely different settings. Then that is part of this messaging, that part of the information gap we have is, you know, I always tell people, look, you know, acupuncture helps the body to heal itself. That's something we take for granted, but that's actually a revolution in modern medicine. There, you know, to have a medical system whose goal is to spark the resources in the body to get more good out of what Mother Nature gave us. If we can get that messaging across, that that's what acupuncture and acupuncturists do, we help you squeeze more good out of your own body for any kind of problem that you have. Then that, you know, if we can get that messaging across, then everybody will be super busy, because who wouldn't want to get more good out of their own body rather than bringing in something foreign to their body, right?
Well, yes, I mean, unfortunately, there are still the crew of people that would rather just pop a pill, but
yeah, but
but
you
that's
know,
just because they're not educated, you know, and they don't know
that,
the difference, and they're still like, what's the word, brainwashed by the pharmaceutical industry, you know.
but you know, the opioid crisis is really
Yeah.
changing that. I mean, it really is.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, you're
you
right.
know, I
You're right.
mean, the
And
whole
that also too,
idea
it's
of,
globally. You know, that's not
that's
just
right.
United States, is what I learned. It's also
Yeah.
global.
It's starting. I mean, it's worse in North America, U.S. and
Yeah.
Canada. Canada's got a bad problem
Yep.
too. But it is starting to grow in these other countries. And, you know, I mean, look, if we can't make people open their eyes to the benefit of using natural therapies to stimulate your own resources in the midst of this opioid crisis, then, I mean, we're in trouble. So, you know,
Well, yeah,
we've got
all
to,
right.
we've got to figure out a way to, you know, get support for the messaging. You know, we have memorandums of understanding with organizations in Canada, 2 in the US, the ASA and the NCCAOM, in the EU, that Gerd, with the European TCM Association, with Ireland, New Zealand, and Australia. So we've got these understandings with these organizations to help educate people, and but everybody is overworked and understaffed and burnout and everything. So literally, we also, just so people know, I have 5 continuing education courses on the Acupuncture Now Foundation website. All of the proceeds from the sale of those courses go to our education campaigns. We're an all volunteer organization. Nobody collects any money other than the people we have taking care of our website, that sort of stuff. And so we have several different ways people can support us, including, like, we're a registered charity, so you can put us as your charity on Amazon Smile. There are so many different ways that people can support us. You have to get continuing education credits. I've been doing this a long time. I specialize in geriatric medicine. I treat more low back pain patients than maybe anybody in the country. So I have these courses. Really, I mean,
I believe it.
Yeah, I have 3 different Kaiser physical medicine offices that send people to me all the time. And so, I have a lot of experience. My courses, all of the proceeds go to the A&F, just like my Making Acupuncture Paybook, all of the proceeds from that go to the A&F. So not only do I not collect any money, but I turn over everything I make in addition to my practice. I turn it over to the A&F. Yeah,
and I respect that. I just wanted to acknowledge Catherine here, who just posted the video on the Washington Association page. Thank you, Catherine.
Awesome.
If everybody else could do that too on their association page, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And, when you were saying that, Matthew, I just was looking at the Acupuncture Now Foundation Facebook page. And I think that you should post about that more often on there, that you have the CEU courses that go to it and everything, because I don't know if people know that. You should be posting about that once a week. I think, because, that is a way that I think really enrolls someone to give to the organization, because it gets on the back, because that's just the psychology of humans,
right?
So I would talk about that for sure a lot more.
We have 3, pages, and I'm trying to figure out about whether we should consolidate them. We have one that's called Acupuncturist for Acupuncture Now, and that one is really geared. Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I know. So the other one is really more geared toward the general public, because that's who we're trying. The acupuncturists are the means to the end. So the end is reaching out to the public and getting people that don't understand this to make use of it. And then we've got one for the film. But you're right. That's been a real challenge for me. I mean, I have hired somebody to work with the social media management and everything. We've got volunteers, but it's a tough thing, because I still see 100 patients a week or so. I actually have to get off here in just a minute because I have a patient waiting. But so it is kind of tough to do this in addition. But see, that's why if we wanted to raise the money to hire a PR firm, because that would be part of their job, to do all of that networking. Yeah.
I can see her telling you to go.
That's my wife, my office manager, giving me the hook. It's time to go.
But yeah, I mean, I totally get that, because I went full time into this coaching just this year, because it's too much to do both, and so, I mean, we can talk to off the video, and I'm happy to consult with you on possible social media stuff that would help this, because I kind of really tapped into that world. So I'd be, and social media is where it's at these days, I mean, the world revolves around Facebook right now. So I'd be happy to consult with you on that. We can set up a call for sure.
Yeah, let's do that. I would love to do that. I mean, we're working at we're more together now definitely than we were, but it's an ongoing challenge about how to stay on top of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matthew, I just wanted to acknowledge you for all the pioneering, amazing work that you are doing to help to forward and mainstream the medicine, and you are planting seeds. You are planting seeds. You are the seed planter.
Well, I consider myself like the Johnny Appleseed of acupuncture, maybe. Exactly. Johnny Acuseed, right? So yeah.
That's your new nickname.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
talking to us. Have a lovely day at your office
Thank
with your patients, and we will talk soon.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
everybody that partook. I really appreciate your
Yeah, and
interest.
please spread the video and connect us in with everybody and anybody that can help, because this is,
That's
you
it.
know, like I said, it takes a village to mainstream Eastern
That's
medicine.
it. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye, Matthew.
Bye, everybody. Bye now.